Hello folks and welcome back to the Relaxing Woodshop. My name is David.
My name's Christopher. I'd like to give a big shout out to everyone for the continued support throughout the videos here. We've got a lot of views at the moment.
We have indeed. Now this is part 3 of the poker table. Now the poker table we're going to get on straight away and we're going to get stuck right into it with the painting of it. So the chips are down.
No more puns.
Oh, come on, chips down. No
chance.
I did do a wee fib. We didn't get straight into the painting. Reason being, and it says we would always show the warts and all with this one. Well, after putting the drill holes in and putting in the wee feet and the supports, there was a wee bit of wiggle room in them from the top, so I needed to put something at the lower end or from the top end, depending which side you're at, to stop that movement and really tighten them up. So I came up with a solution of basically a wooden dowel, and what we'll do, if you want to come around and see, I'll be able to show you how we did it. So you get the drill bit and just hold her and nip here, put it in, and then throw it at the angle and straight through. And then what we'll do is get the dowel, put the dowel in, let it naturally find, don't be forcing it too much, let it naturally find a hole. That's it in solid. Now what we're going to do is get a wee flush saw and just run the flush saw and that supports all the support from the top, and as you can see we are ready to the other sides. Let's get on to the painting. Okay guys, so we're now on to the painting. We're going to use Ronseal Colour Garden paint for 2 reasons. A, we had it lying about to keep the cost down, and B, with the grey it'll look really good. Well, they say it does exactly what it says in the tin, so let's find out. Okay guys, this part was for Christopher, but he refused to put on this dirty mask because I wear it a lot of the time, and with us going through COVID and everything, even though we live on the same house, yeah, you get it. So what we're going to do is, we're going to use the Motor Clear lacquer now. We're going to put 4 coats onto the top part of the top, and then we're going to put 2 coats onto the frame. Now the reason for the 4 coats in this, as it says, if you're putting down a can of Coke or anything, you want to be able to give it a wee wipe and it's not going to put too much staining onto the nice wood with the painting. So on with the mask, because this stuff's pretty rough. You'll be noticing that we've been doing a lot outside. 2 main reasons. A lot of fumes comes off the likes of this, and B, I don't want to get my workshop covered in paint, and the wife doesn't want to get the nice bench covered in paint, hence the sheet. So let's get us painting. And then onto this. We're going to do that 3 more times as it says in this, and once more on that.
So here we go, guys. We've got the brush shaft and we're looking to cut it in half. So we need to use the vernier calipers to find out the diameter of it and obviously have it. So it's reading here 28.8 mil. So we're going to bring it over here to the bandsaw, which just so happens to be already set out to the halfway mark, which is 14.4. You just don't know what we're going to be doing with the brush shaft, but it'll become clear soon.
Okay guys, so the first 32 centimeters in length of that have been cut down the center of the shaft. So now we're going to cut that bit off, so we allow for 2 slices like this. And that gives us 2 of them, and we're going to do the exact same thing in the bandsaw for the other 2.
So here we are, we're attaching the top of the table to the bottom of the table, just making sure it's even on all the sides here. Should be 1.75 all the way around. Yep, doing good. So going to use self-tapping screws to screw the top down into the support on the bottom. Easy. And there we go.
Christopher's put the top onto the frame, so what I need to do now is put the felt over. So now it's actually suede, so it is. So but what we need to do is try and work this out, how we're going to put it down, keep it taut at the same time, so then we can put our wee bit of finishing touches onto the material. So get a clamp it in one corner, nice and tight, okay, and then another clamp here and pull a wee bit on to get it tight there and lock it in. That then will allow you to go to the far side and put a bit of tension on it, lock it in, and then again over here pull a bit of tension on it, lock it in, and then in the top corner over here put a bit of tension on it and lock in. And as you can see, that's instantly taut that down. And then we're going to work our way around with the wee clamps. Okay guys, so as you can see, we've clamped it all the way around, giving a wee bit of tension, but obviously not overstretching it. So now all we're going to do is put a wee tack, and we'll do, it just gives it a bit more, it makes it look better, it makes it look more professional. Not that we're not professionals. Just give it a wee bit of tension every time you start that nail. Okay guys, so as you can see, it's all nicely nailed round. We still will have to obviously trim off the edges, which we'll get to shortly. But what we need to do now is have a material punch to punch holes in the material around the edges. Reason being, if we drill our frame that we've built onto this straight onto it, there is a very high chance that your drill bit will catch the material, spin it round, and literally pull it away from the nails. So what we need to do is push 4 holes on each corner all the way around, and then put the tiniest drill bit straight through so we can see our pilot holes to come up through the back end. So what we'll do is we'll poke them out with a wee blade, and then we'll continue all the way around. So there we go, guys, all trimmed out and then screwed out. Now those pilot holes we can be seen from the other side, because we've come into a big problem with our painting. We've been lacquering and painting all day in the heat, so it's drying and speeding up the drying process for us to give you the good video, and it's kind of warped our boards a wee bit. So this is why we're going to go this way, and instead of doing a standard picture frame with a biscuit joint, which we have, we're going to go for something a wee bit different. So let's keep going. So guys, as you can see, unlike most of the year round, Northern Ireland's getting some amazing weather. So we've painted those wee half-cut strips down, so we're just letting them dry out. The warpings here, you can see where the heat's caused a wee bit of the wood to come up. So what we're going to do is we're going to screw the bits down, leaving them open, letting them to naturally settle. So let's run through and drill all these screws down. Just feel it biting, you know, when you're getting too close that it's going to pull through. You can literally just feel that nip. And this is a bit when we get into the trouble spot, so we're just going to work this slowly. Around the other side so you can see what I'm doing, not on the road. Whoop. And the reason I slipped there, guys, is there's a small spider beside my eye. Okay guys, we're back in the wood shop. As you can see, the warping's there, there's no doubt about it. And it's also created the slightest gap in between the 45s to make the 90, to make the 180, to make the 360. So what we're going to do is, we had an epiphany. Chris and myself had an epiphany. Or Christopher, because I'll get shouted at by his mum if I don't call him by that. Is we're going to clamp all four corners to match each other, drill a small hole through, use a wooden dowel, and that will then straighten up the four edges, and naturally, hopefully when it cools down and goes back into shape, we'll get some consistency. But you can see what's happening. We now have one person, two people, three people, four people, and then we have the beautiful felt, or suede, centre, where you can throw the chips down and put everything on the table. So let's get onto the dials. Let's try this out. Clamped all four, okay, and it actually has brought it right up flush, right? So now what we need to do is drill the hole through here, hopefully through the other board, and then tap in the dial. So let's have a go. That's that bit done. We'll grab the dial. Fingers crossed, everybody. We're doing this together. That is solid. Clamp off. Perfect. So let's do that on the next one. Ooh. Back in. Let's do this again. Solid. Clamp off. Voila, no movement. I'll do that round the other two, and then we'll come back to you in a wee second. Okay guys, so now we've got the wee dials in. What we don't want to do now, with 4 coats of paint and with 4 coats of lacquer. So what we don't want to do is mark too much of that and take all that hard work away. These things happen, we'll have to work around it. So, bit of paper. What we're going to do is drill the same drill bit that we used through the paper. And that will then allow us to cover up our hole, our dial over the dial, protecting the wood. And then if I get in my flush cut saw, and then we'll just nip that gently. Probably being too nervous, but keep going. And that cuts it off. And then we'll just get a wee bit of sandpaper and fine that off. Now, no poker table will be complete without a wee bit of stickers on it. So, I've got a sticker from online. Just going to line her up. Place it down. Give it a gentle rub first, just to make sure it's all in line. Use a bit of material because you can actually get a wee bit of skin burn if you rub it without having protection on your hand. Give it a good press. And then hopefully, a little bit of magic. And we'll do that all the way around. Well guys, look at that. Really is beautiful. So when we cut that brush shaft in half, if you're anything like my father, you cheated everything, especially Monopoly. So what you do is you split the corners of each one so you're not accidentally sliding a poker chip onto the other component, so you are. So we did it off camera, to be honest, because they're a wee bit tricky and I was just being a wee bit cautious. I didn't want to mess the whole thing up. But look, it's absolutely beautiful. Chips down and enjoy, guys. Well guys, thank you so much for hanging in there with us. I must admit, and it's easy for me to say this, but I think it turned out absolutely beautiful. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it was aces.
Seriously. Dad jokes and he goes off with that. Guys, thank you so much for joining in and we look forward to seeing you next week on the Relaxing Wood Shop.
See you then.